In 2017, the CBO said the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would increase the deficit and the debt by trillions of dollars. Well, what happened? They were wrong. Now, this is not surprising. They were wrong on the Mellon tax cuts in the 1930s. They were wrong on the Kennedy tax cuts in the 1960s. They were wrong on the Reagan tax cuts in the 1980s. When have they been right? I don't know either. But what I can tell you, 2017 TCJA produced a 3% increase in revenue in 2018 and another 3% in 2019. Why? Because the Laffer curve is right. If you lower taxes, you increase production, and that means more revenue.
So this is what Tim Scott said when he released this video. He said, CBO wrong then and wrong now. You know, Tim, you would have thought you did like a little bit of research before you made that stupid ass video. The CBO wasn't created until 1974. So I don't know how they predicted the 1930s and the 1960s, but they didn't. How embarrassing. Then you used the Laffer curve about the 2017 TCJA. If anybody doesn't know, Laffer is an idiot who is only the sole person that is saying that this new tax cut isn't going to add to the deficit. He was wrong about Reagan and he's wrong now. So I went to the US Treasury.gov because that's what you cited. In 2019, so far, the US economy grew 2.4% at an average annual rate. It only was $320 billion higher than the CBO had actually predicted. Not that trillions of dollars. According to the Treasury, in 2018 and 2019, where you said it went up 3% both years, it actually went up 0.4% in 2018 and 2.6% in 2019. So you were wrong again. And what you were actually talking about was the money that was brought back from U.S. multi-international national enterprises that were subjected to U.S. taxes only when repatriated. So during the 2017 Tax Jobs Act, they actually ended up shifting to a quasi-territorial tax system. Therefore, they were no longer subject to the U.S. taxes when repatriated. It wasn't revenue for the United States, it was revenue for the enterprises to bring back the money. So Tim Scott didn't do any of that research. One more crucial thing, the Reagan tax cut. Laffer, who Tim Scott and Scott Bessent think is so amazing, who created the Laffer curve, didn't correctly predict Reagan's tax cuts because in 1981, Reagan signed the Economical Recovery Tax Act, and it was a disaster because the federal revenue as a share of GDP fell after the tax cut, and the budget deficit ballooned to the highest level in peacetime history, which led to Reagan signing the 1982 Tax Equality and Fiscal Responsibility Act, roll back some of the 1981 cuts. So please go ahead, tell me I was wrong. Tell the CBO they were wrong. This is your political mom, educational purposes only, viewers discretion advised.